This video is not intended for anyone 13 or younger. Hello viewers and welcome back to another My Hero Academia read-through reaction. And yeah, it's been 2 weeks and I know this episode is going to be a bit late than usual because a lot of things have been going on. And before I start this week's chapter, I did go and see My Hero Academia's Heroes Rising on Thursday, and it was really, really good. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it, and the theater that I was in, it was like not too many people came in that night, and yeah, it was good. It was good, and if I have to complain, is everything's good up until the end, and not to say that the ending kind of sucks. It's just one minor little nitpick in just one tiny little nitpick at the end, and it's kind of self-explanatory at the end. But if that was how Horikoshi was going to write the original ending, I would have enjoyed it. I would have enjoyed it. Enjoyed it. And yeah, I guess a few people might get a little angry if that was the original ending, if everything the same way of it was. But yeah, I will say that the ending, whoa, the artwork is really good at the end. Like, it gets really good at the end. It's like, boom! Your mind just freaking explodes from all the good artwork from Studio Bones. They really put their best foot forward into that section. Um, I will admit, yeah, this film was a lot better than their last film, and I hope we get to see more of those in the future. If Horikoshi did say that, I don't know. There's a rumor saying that the manga series could be going for another 10 years. So I get 10 years good worth of content. And with that out of the way, and yes, I know the Vigilantes wasn't uploaded last week. Yeah, like I said, a lot of things were going on, and yeah, I did manage to record like one chapter of it, but but it wasn't that good, so maybe I'll redo that one and then the following that one. It's just, yeah, I know it will take some time, and I will bring it up as soon as it's done. So yeah, so during 2 weeks ago, we had the unveiling of the five new Nomus. The high-end Nomus came out of their tanks and they're ready to fight. We have one already fighting Crust, the number 6 hero, and while all the other 4 heroes, including Metalhead, is fighting Mirko, and I don't think Mirko is gonna survive this arc unless she's got really like a huge luck of the Irish bullshit luck. I don't see her surviving this. So yeah, we are going to start with chapter 262. Why did I say 162? I meant to say chapter 262. Before we get started, make sure you hit that subscribe button. It only takes 2 simple clicks. Click, click. Enjoy the episode. So, right off the bat, we don't get a full cover page this week. We just jump into the action with where Cage Nomu was coming down the hallway to the laboratory, and Cage is the one with the brain in a cage, still fighting Crust, and Cage is just saying, "Ah, it's too cramped," and he's just complaining how cramped his. It's just because his body is so goddamn big, and we see Crust is trying to push him forward, backwards, but he's just, but Cage is just getting through the hallway, while at least 3 other heroes join in, and they're surprised to see him, surprised to see Cage, and one of them says, "What? Is that a talking Nomu? Is that Nomu talking?" And we just And before anyone could answer, Crust just interrupts and says, "Gentlemen." And we move on to the next page. And we see Crust is starting to build up his armor around his hands. And as he continues, he says, "There are more of these things up ahead. We must hurry to Mirko's aid." And then on the next panel, whoosh, just like a giant shung, like two hexadecimals, hexa, hexa, uh, hexadecimal shields prop up out of his arms and getting Crust like chopped into threes, and it's the shields are in there deep in Cage, and we get the usual analysis saying, "Number 6 hero, Crust. Quick shield. His entire body can produce shields." And we continue on the next panel with Cage continuing to say, "The that's the that's not enough to finish me off." And Crust is continuing saying, "Is this poor walking cadaver?" And we get a little recap of what Nomus are, with the brains exposed and saying, with probably the narrator saying, "Nomu, corpses corpses remodeled to possess multiple quirks, with no will of their own. They can only act according to their programming." So we're getting a little more like a recap of what we already know for viewers just catching up. And the text continues for quite a while, and I'll just keep reading, explaining the tiers of Nomus that we already seen so far. They are divided into lower, middle, and upper tiers, depending on how many quirks they have and their physical enhancements. Up in the up Those in the upper tier are at least as strong as 10 average people combined. So the upper tiers, and they're showing like examples of the upper tiers, probably the showing the Nomu that we saw in the SJ incident, the training camp, and probably the Stain storyline as examples. Standing above all of them are the high-end Nomu, possessing status beyond those of the upper tier Nomu. They exhibit the personality traits of their host bodies and have a high capacity for independent thought. So these things are intelligent, these high ends. Just a reminder, these high ends can practically be as smart as people, so they're not dumb. So we move on to page 4, and we cut back to where the Mac Doctor has been stowed away in the meantime, and as he talks. Oh, that was the Mad Doctor speaking. Sorry, my bad. Talking about the Nomus. And the Mad Doctor continues while continuing work on Shigaraki, according to the next few panels. "That's why I hadn't picked the most battle-crazed villains. Even preparing those candidates took in Im- immense effort." And we cut to black as we see the Mad Doctor continuing. "Artificially transplanting a quirk involves complex surgery and at least 3 months to fully take root." So we're getting a little more into the procedure. So yeah, so Shigaraki is technically a Nomu, but probably going to become a high end if the Mad Doctor works it right. Without All for One's power producing more high ends, it's an uphill battle. At this point, women woman only woman and the other only woman and other 4 had any sort of trial run, and just barely at that. So he's talking about the 5 high ends that just busted out last week. "I'm so sorry for cutting and running, my little ones, but please try your hardest." Now, In the next battle, we see the Mad Doctor's two little. We see Johnny and Mocha from a couple of chapters ago, and they died, and so they're going up to heaven. Oh my god. Trying to put empathy on a guy who's kind of basically mad science and doing like equivalents of Nazi research is really sympathetic to his children. Now that I've lost Johnny's warp and Mocha's double, and we see the two go up, and they say, and I can't remember Mocha. I think Johnny is the first one saying bye bye, and Mocha just up right behind him, saying, "We were already dead, actually." Mocha's just pointing out the obvious. And with that, we continue with the Mad Doctor saying, "Shigaraki and I have no way to flee this place." And the Mad Doctor's just typing away, and we get a completion bar saying that Shigaraki is only 70% done. So if he comes out early, so he's not going to be at his best. And the Mad Doctor continues saying, in which case, while you five are doing your best out there. And we see on the next panel, we see Shigaraki in his tank, still with the Mad Doctor working away. And according to the artwork for Shigaraki, okay, we do get like a sneak preview of what Shigaraki's gonna look like when he comes out of the tank, and he kind of looks good. Like the artwork is like really good, and we get a visor and more. Shigaraki's gonna get a visor and what appears to be like body armor and something like that. I would love to have Shigaraki's new form be a little more closer to Midoriya's costume with the and just and have Shigaraki like go full militaristic. Uh, and it'll be a proper mirroring of Midoriya's costume. And we get the title of the chapter. Chapter number 262. Mukuro, the number 5 hero. And as soon as we get that panel of Shigaraki, we hear a beep and saying that Shigaraki is only his completion bar has gone up by 1. So it's gonna take a long ass time. I mean, what is the Mad Doctor uploading from? From a dial-up? Okay, sorry about that. It just kind of makes sense. So we move on to page 6, and we continue where the particular character of the chapter's title, we cut back to Mirko as she listens in on whatever the Mad Doctor was talking. And she starts saying, so, and Mirko starts saying, in her head, saying, so, he's deeper inside the lair. That old fart can't get away. He's cornered. And Mirko just comes out with her crazy look, saying, You're just clack. Mirko saying, you're just clanking away back there, huh? As she does like what's supposed to be like a sexy pose or something. I can't really tell by the artwork. And next panel, we see the 4 new high-end Nomus. And we don't see the 4th one. We see Metalhead, Majin, and Sindel. And I just made them on the spot. And Sindel starts speaking. How can she still move? And Metalhead continues saying, must be stopped. I will kill. And we get an introduction to Mirko as she leaps from from her hiding place. And starting out with number 5 hero, Mirko. And Mirko continues while leaping towards them. And Mirko says, "Wanna know? My legs cancelled out the impact," as a giant explosion goes off right behind her. I think that's the after effect of her jumping off, and we get more of her quirk, and we get to her quirk, and it says quirk rabbit, as we see Sindel getting the brunt of the hit. It's not really seen, like she gets her head moved back with that. I think it's implied that Mirko kicked Sindel from the chin, or she tried to, or Sindel's trying to keep track of Mirko. Can't really tell from the art. And next panel, we do get to see a full page, a closer look at the fourth Nomu, as we see the fourth one looks resembling an elephant. And we get more of the dialogue saying, "She could do whatever a rabbit can, but even better." And Mirko continues while she's rushing off, and she says, "You're first, you dumb old fart," referring to the mad doctor. But she gets rudely interrupted on the next panel by Majin with his tail, and he says, "We must brutalize. The, the, those are our orders." And Elephant and Sindel just leap into the battle after Majin traps Mirko in his hair or some tendrils or something. And on the next panel, we get a double page spread in one of the panels. We see Mirko's just using her legs and just hitting Elephant and Sindel, and more like Mirko hit Sindel in the brain area. And Majin's just still doing nothing. I can't really tell. And on the next panel, we get a full page, like a double page panel of Mirko using one of her attacks called Luna Ring, as she buzzsaws, the equivalent of buzzsawing through Elephant and Sindel. And I guess in the next panel that it's implied that Majin still gets a good lick on Mirko, and probably the next few panels saying that it's Mirko's inner monologue saying, "Too shallow, knocked my aim off," as probably those two are going to start regenerating, and we see Majin still continuing pumping out his tendrils, and Mirko just says, "Screw you," as she leaps out of the tendrils and just about to attack Majin. And oh god, we got another double page section with Mirko trying to dodge Majin's tendrils, as she says, "Eat this." And before Mirko attacks again onto Majin, Majin pulls some new trick about making a shield on his back and having spikes come out. But before that ever happens, she gets rudely interrupted by something of a black hole being formed around her supposedly left arm, getting sucked in. And the answer to that, who's making the black hole, it's Metalhead making the black hole, with Metalhead saying, "Won't, won't sit still." As we get a weird panel on the bottom, looks like something exploding. It's implied that Mirko's hand got ripped apart by the black hole. And Mirko continues saying, "That frickin' hurts." And and Metalhead just finishes off the black hole. effect. And next panel, we do see the damage, and the black hole's turned off, and mostly Mercuro's left hand is completely ripped off. But she does get a good hit on Majin, and as she says, her next attack, Luna Fall, she puts her goddamn boot into Majin's brain, and Majin does go down. And next panel, we get things back to normal. After that, Mercuros just leaps off and just about to do her Luna Ring on Metalhead now. And Metalhead continues saying, "You dive in, undaunted." And Mercuro just freaking leaps her legs on top of the head of Metalhead. As Mercuro says, "Guys who fight with ranged moves don't tend don't tend don't tend to do so hot in close quarters." As we get a freaking insane look on Mercuro. So we're moving on to page 16, and oh my god. Oh my god, this is an insane sequence. Oh god. Oh god. Oh god. So yeah, before all that incident, let's see what happens. That we start with page 16, and we get Metalhead just saying, "Die," as he starts to warm up his freaking laser beams towards Mukuro's crotch area. And Mukuro's just saying, "Sure," and she just whips around Metalhead's head while having her legs hold on to Metalhead's legs. And when that happens, his eye lasers spew out, trying to get a good shot in. And when that's going on, just trying to rip off Metalhead's head. As she continues saying, "But only when it's my time. Luna Tijur." What the frick? How do you pronounce that? One sec. Like a frickin'. How the frick do you pronounce that? That can't. Word. What the hell's a. What the hell? Oh. Okay. So it's a made up word. I don't know how you pronounce this next word. It's probably a reference to Luna Tiger or something. As she rips off Metalhead's head with her legs and smashes Metalhead's head in, basically killing him. And in the next page, his headless body is just lands on the floor. So yeah, 2 weeks theory. 2 weeks ago, I had a theory that Metalhead was Crimson Riot under the Metalhead. I guess that one's just officially thrown out the window. I guess Horikoshi knew that had to be like of Horikoshi's way of controlling things. Like, we think it's something, but no, he just ends up changing it, changes it, changes it, just freaking change it. And we see Mukuro just tugging on something with her hair, and she keeps going on in her head saying, "Can't keep doing the job," while ignoring this. As we see the other three remaining high ends with Elephant, Majin, and Sindel seeing their fallen comrade. And having Murkuro finish off the rest of the page saying, "I guess crushing your noggins does the trick. that makes ya way that makes ya way easier to deal with than an average villain, because she can go freaking nuts. As we continue with the last panel of the last panel of the second to last page, we have her continuing with her freaking left arm completely destroyed by Metalhead's black hole, and looking sadistic, saying, "I live every day of my life like there's no tomorrow. So that's when my number's up. So that's when my number's up. I can check out with no regrets. No way this horde of zombies is gonna end Mukuro the hero." And she's probably gonna continue fighting all three of them. And I mean, she lost her goddamn left arm. I don't still see her walking out of this alive. And we get rudely interrupted before the more of the Mukuro being a badass continues. We cut back to... Yeah, we cut immediately straight back to the Legion of Doom headquarters of their little crappy hotel. As we see what's going on inside, we see Skeptic freaking out on his laptop saying, "Baguara, you've done it now. Where is that fool? Damn it, this could have been worse." As he freaking out about twice spoiling things and saying where their secret base is to Hawks. That's what it implies, as Skeptic continues in his head. "I've been keeping a close eye on Hawks from the start. He never acted suspicious in any way. We've been deceived, but it wasn't my fault. Twice is to blame." And as that's going on, the parts of one of the walls of the hotel starts to split apart, while Skeptic finishes off the chapter with saying, "Heroes are coming!" And the next chapter will be coming out on March 8th. And yeah, having Mirko kicking ass of all four high-end Nomus. Sadly, Metalhead is fully dead because, yeah, smashing the brain stem of a high-end practically kills it. Unless we get a surprise with Metalhead somehow raising right the frick back up from the dead. I mean, the Mad Doctor would have prepared something like that, but yeah, Metalhead is officially dead. So officially, that my theory of Metalhead being Crimson Riot is officially dead. And yeah, so that was chapter 262, completely nutty fight, and I can guess that the next chapter we're going to quickly cut back as we continue where the chapter ended with the heroes who are at the villa of the Quirk Liberation Army, and we're going to be stuck with the people who are attacking the villa, the hotel next on March 8th. So until then, I'll see you on chapter 263. So until then, have a good day, everybody, and see you on the next chapter. Bye for now.